Welcome to the Red Gauge Podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Helps out the show a ton. We are your host. I'm Kyle, and this is Josh. And today we're joined by the effervescent Ryan Pittman.
Wow.
Was that a good one? Effervescent seems like it might be a bad one.
I don't know if it is.
I feel like it's a good one.
Effervescent.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, you'll find out if that was a good thing or a bad thing here at the end of the episode.
Gotta Google that in an hour.
All right. Effervescent.
Yeah.
Is there more?
No, I think that's it. I think we're ready to go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ryan coaches at Olympia. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Weight room man.
Yep.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah. How did you get into sport?
Well, my story starting with sport.
You gotta be like 2 inches away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get real in there.
Yeah. You gotta get personal with
Already.
it. Okay.
My origin story with sports and stuff was my parents are both athletes, and so they put me into sports early, and it stuck with me big time. I was definitely that kid that didn't play with toys and army men and stuff like that. My brother was, but I was the kid outside throwing the ball at a wall all day long and tackling my little brother when he walked by just to get the reps in. And my whole life was just playing sports and stuff. Played baseball, basketball, football, really growing up. Once I got to high school, stopped growing in like 6th grade height-wise, so knew basketball was kind of cut out. And so
in 6th grade, though, were you real excited? You were like the biggest kid in 6th grade, and
I was up there. I was
Yeah.
in that back row, pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and you were like, "This is going great."
yeah, it's going great.
NBA for me.
And it stopped right there.
I used to be a back row guy, too.
My mom always said that kids grow like trees, wide and tall. I just stopped at wide. Didn't get that one last tall in, like my little brother did. But yeah, so then high school was just baseball and football. And then football really was my sport. Played pretty high level. Was looking to play in college, but again, that height thing kept me from doing too much in the college world for football. I tried to go play at Eastern Oregon for a minute, but I had a really successful career in football. Our team was really good. I think I'm the same age as you-ish, so I think we played against each other when I was at Ole and you were at Shelton.
Yeah, you look so much younger than me.
Well, when did you graduate?
06?
I was 05. You're older than me. Or younger than me.
Well, kids,
But yeah,
take
so
care of your bodies.
But I was able to play in the Tacoma Dome in semifinals my junior year. We were able to go play up at Seahawks Stadium my senior year, so we were able to do some really cool things. And my senior year, we weren't very good, so obviously that was my first year coaching. We graduated all these seniors from that semifinal team, and it was like me and 2 other dudes that were left. Like, how do we make this group of JV kids into something? So, started my coaching career as I was still playing, trying to get those kids going, and weren't great, but got them better, and they were good the year after me. So I always thought maybe I had a little something to do with that.
Right.
But my sport career was a lot of high school stuff, and then went off to college and wanted to be a PE teacher.
Right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah, I went through a lot of. Somebody just asked me this, like, did you want to be a PE teacher? It was like, I think that I was always interested in physical education, right? It was my favorite class, PE.
That doesn't surprise me.
Weight room, alpha brain. But no, it wasn't like. First, I wanted to be a state trooper, and it was just like through like weird things, nursing, then nutrition education, then teaching, then PE teacher. Like, I just kept walking through open doors.
Yeah.
One day woke up, I was like, oh, I'm a weight room teacher.
Well, it's actually really funny because, for me, I knew I wanted to get into coaching when I got older. And so I was like, well, what schedules are good with coaching? I was like, well, teacher, and then police officer was one of my other options I was thinking about. And so I just chose the PE route, knowing that would be the easiest route to, have that schedule to be able to coach as much as I want, because when school's out, that's when practice starts. So
yeah, I mean, you can't, as a coach, you can't beat teacher.
No.
It's almost like they're part of the same job.
I had a coach who was an appeals judge. He could come to practice whenever he wanted.
Yeah, I guess just be whatever the job is if you're the top.
Yeah.
It works as well.
Yeah.
Self-employed.
Yeah, if you're the top of the ladder, then nobody says anything about when you go to coach. I don't know how long it took to get there. Definitely probably a much faster path teaching. First day, they'll let you do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
They're begging you to do it.
Yeah.
So you go to college.
Yep.
Did you go straight school to school and get a job? Or is there anything in between there? Or
Pretty much. I subbed a little bit before I got that job, but
teaching for like 20 years, man.
pretty much, yeah. I think I'm on year like 13 or something. But yeah, no, when I when I was still in college, I came back and was just looking for some hours to volunteer, just to check the box for college. And I came back and started coaching football at Ole, just thrown into it. A good story about that later, but just thrown into coaching at that point. And then when I graduated from college, came back and subbed, and literally was offered the job to come teach PE at Ole, walking to practice. I was walking to practice, and Mr. Grant, our principal, was playing tennis. He was like, "Hey, Pitt, you want to come in tomorrow for an interview? This person just retired. We'd love to have you come interview." And I was like, "Sure. Do I have to apply or anything?" He's like, "We'll do that after the interview. Just come in and interview." And so I ended up getting the job there as my first job, just walking to practice.
That's pretty nice.
Right?
The first PE job that I applied for was at Shelton. I was already teaching and coaching at Shelton. I'd already won a state title in powerlifting, and I didn't get it. I did not get that job. And I was like, all right, okay. That was the first time I realized how much people cared other than me about powerlifting.
Yeah, that might be more just an issue of the classes that you taught and not wanting to...
Health?
Yeah.
I was part of the Health Science Academy. But
Yeah, health's got a lot of
I
turnover.
got myself out of that.
Yeah.
We love you, health teachers.
Yeah, legitimately.
Goodness.
Yeah, it's
That's a
super
hell of a
important.
job.
And it's hard.
No, it's perfectly easy.
Yeah.
It's everybody's favorite. Health is everybody's favorite class.
Literally everybody.
Yep.
Every kid loves taking health.
No, nobody does. It's a terrible job. Health teachers, you should support your health teachers. So when you came on, was it your coach still there? Was your football coach still there?
Yeah,
so it's kind of familiarity.
we had a coaching staff at Olympia that was there for 20 years altogether. So when I came back, I just came back to get the hours like I talked about, and I came to practice one day, and Coach Beatty was like, "Yeah, just go down with the freshmen and see what they need." It's like, "Okay, cool." And I walked down with the freshmen, and the guy coaching the freshmen was my 8th grade coach, and he was like, "Oh, sweet, you're here. Hey, everybody, all the linemen go with Coach Pitt in the corner. He's got you for individual." And I was like, I haven't coached yet. You just give me this 25 freshmen. I don't remember if we ran the same offense at this point. All right. So my brain just clicked back to, high school me. And I was like, all right, EDDs we used to do. And we started smashing through it. And they just made me the freshman O-line coach, on day one.
That's awesome.
And so I coached just those years of coaching until I went back to school. And I'd come back on break and watch a game or something.
Right.
But just my whole career of coaching has just been thrown into stuff.
Right.
You'll figure it out. Here you go. We need you. Do this.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess we probably should talk more. We've known each other now for quite some time, and so our coach Coach Hinkle, was Beatty's best friend,
right?
Growing up. So it's kind of funny that the two coaches were best friends, and then we were coming up, and then we'll probably get into it later. But Ryan dethroned me as a state title.
You
coach.
son of a bitch!
I did.
That's why we brought you on
we
the
only
show.
brought you here to berate you.
Yeah, how dare you? Yeah.
You, man.
It sounds like there's a really important takeaway there, just in case anybody's wondering whether or not it's valuable to maintain good, healthy relationships, because it seems like most of your success is based on, having good relationships, right? And working hard and all that kind of stuff, right? But when you showed up, they were excited to see you.
Yeah, I tell it to kids all the time. I'm like, if I was the kid that was screwing around in class and was a jerk to my teachers, that first staff meeting when I got back to teaching would have been really awkward.
Yeah, yeah.
All of a sudden, all these teachers I was a jerk to, but they were all happy I was there and welcomed me in. But yeah, relationships are everything, especially when you get older.
We were talking about how you became a teacher. When I became a teacher, it's one of the nice things about being a small town is everybody knows everybody. One of the unfortunate things is everybody knows everybody. But they needed a math teacher, and so somebody who worked at the school called me and was like, "Would you be interested in being a math teacher?" Because they had heard I was looking to change jobs, and so I went in for a little pre-interview thing and to meet people and talk about what the job was and everything. And when I got there, I saw my high school math teacher who I'd had all 4 years. And I was like, I'm not getting this job. No way. No way. Not because I wasn't good at math, but because I was a jackass as a kid,
Yeah, we still have an assistant principal at the school that, kicked me out of a game because I was intoxicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was off the rails as a student. Definitely wasn't planning on being a teacher at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The military was probably good for old Monroe here.
Yeah, it is nice that you get an opportunity to grow up and people don't hold your childhood against you too much,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah. You just got to figure it out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Continue to be a jackass.
Yeah.
So football, you get there, that was the only sport you were coaching right away?
Yeah, only sport I was coaching was football. And then slowly again got thrown into wrestling. I was just doing all the weight room stuff for the wrestling team too, and then I was like, to do better in the weight room, I need to learn this sport a little bit. So I go to practice and just watch and see the movements that they did and how I could make them better in the weight room in the off season. And then started going more and more. And then one year, the head coach literally looked at me and said, "Hey, we have enough girls almost to start a girls team, and you could be their head coach. It's a pay bump. You get paid nothing right now, and you get paid $4,000 or something." And so I recruited 2 more girls, and then knowing basically nothing about wrestling, they were like, "You're the girls' head coach. Here you go. Take these girls and go win some medals." And so that's how that part of my journey started too. Was just wanting
thrown back in.
I
feel like
else.
we're getting a little bit of a rhythm here.
Yeah.
Just like, Pitt can handle it.
Exactly.
Throw him in there.
Throw him in there.
Well, if you notice, when I talked about my sports growing up, I didn't mention wrestling because I
Right.
never wrestled. I wrestled for 3 days in middle school. On day 3, I could already beat the varsity kid at heavyweight, but then I learned what unlimited was as a weight class, and I was like, I'm like 220, and was there like 300-pound kids? Like, oh yeah, Tomar's got one, this school's got one. I'm like, I'm out. Like, that sounds horrendous. So yeah, I wrestled for 3 days and then coached as a head coach for 10 years.
It's funny because thinking back on, I had a couple like friends in high school who were around 300 pounds, and one of them would not have been dangerous at all on the wrestling mat, and the other one would have just straight up pulled your head clean off your body. Like a big spread of what you could get with those super heavies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in wrestling at that weight, it's whoever's on their back first is going to lose because that's just a lot of weight on you no matter what, whether you know what you're doing or not. But
Right.
300 is 300.
Yeah. Yeah. We've talked about this before, but like weight and strength it's not just unlimited
Right.
up, right? Like it starts to peter out. So
Yeah.
200, you still have a 300-pound man lying on top of you. It's pretty tough to get him off of you. I don't know.
Speed bump.
We make no cuts on this show. But anyways, I don't remember what I was trying to say.
You lost your train of thought.
Right in the
How
face.
was your so football makes sense because you knew football. How was your first year coaching wrestling?
I just learned early on that I needed to learn the sport before actually coaching it.
Yeah.
And so, I had a good assistant coach, the young guy that was helping me that took care of the technical stuff. And I just knew I was one there to, learn the sport, learn the girls, learn the rules and stuff, and just, make them successful. And so, thankfully I had 2 guys that did all the technical stuff, and I just had to be there for them and make the schedules and, just learn it.
So at that time, were you still coaching freshmen, or did you?
I think for football I still was. I think I still was at that point.
So you have the dichotomy of your coaching freshman linemen and girls wrestling. Like, what is the difference? I've coached girls powerlifting, but it's a different world of coaching. Coaching a sport athlete and coaching powerlifting, I feel like they're very different fields. So what was that like when you're shifting gears from football season to wrestling season? Like, what was the biggest learning curve of coaching?
I mean, it's a completely different thing. The things that motivate boys is the opposite for girls, right? The girls, with boys, you can really push them and tell them, like, kind of challenge them in certain ways, and they'll step up to the challenge. Where girls, you might just piss them off, and then they just will not talk to you the rest of the year. Like, one bad conversation, then you're the biggest jerk in the world. I'm never going to listen to you.
Right.
And so it was just learning each kid and how I could really, get them going in the moments they were happy or sad or whatever. But it was learning how to coach girls in a brand new sport. First time coaching girls was a complete life-changing thing for my coaching career.
Maybe some of your successes is because it was a brand new sport. Like, I guess if you had grown up in, like you're saying, like if boys and girls, for the most part, are coached differently, and you grew up in like just getting battered in wrestling practice and getting yelled at and stuff like that. Like, maybe you would have came in with that mindset and you wouldn't have been successful. But almost like that you were learning with the girls probably was actually a good thing.
Yeah, well, you see that too. Like, someone will come in and, you watch another coach, you can tell that they grew up in that sport because they treat their girls just like the boys. And you do, to some extent, but at the same time too, like the way we run a boys practice and girls practice are very different overall. Because the girls, you really need to just find that motivating factor for them. It's not just about, they might not even care about winning matches. They're there for a specific reason. You have to learn what makes them tick, what makes them come back, and what would make them go away.
Yeah, and of course we're just talking like generality. Like, for the most part, you'll probably get some boys that are on the other side, some girls on the other side. But I think you see that exact thing in the weight room. Is like when we look at boys and girls, I talk about this all the time. Like if I am correcting form on a girl, they have no problem going down weight immediately, and they almost immediately can correct their form. With a boy, I'll correct their form, and then they'll be like
20 more pounds.
Yeah, got it. They'll go up weight and look at. They'll be like, oh, and be like, it's like, no, that was worse. That one was worse. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, what are you talking about, man? Get in the mirror. And they're like, oh, I see what you're saying. I should do this. Oh, and it's like, dude, I don't know what you're seeing, but it isn't good form, man.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing how different. But for the most part, the boys that are in the weight room, they're driven by the record boards, right? They want to do the numbers. They don't want to lift less than that guy right over there. Where even my ladies that are super strong they don't seem affected by a girl outlifting them for the most part. Now, a girl from a different school, or, like when if we're talking about like powerlifting and like who's first, who's second, sure. I'm not saying that the girls aren't driven by winning. Like, I've had to manage that for many years of having, especially when it's your own two girls that are fighting for first and second. Like, it's like siblings that don't like each other or something, but it is like coaching girls can be absolutely the best thing and also a very tough thing.
I think for both those sports too, with wrestling and with powerlifting, for me is that when I get these female lifters or wrestlers, they're just coming there to figure something new out. Like they don't come in. I've maybe twice in my career had girls come in that had wrestled before. They walked into our room, and so it's taking the kid from zero to something, and so you have that more slow roll into it. Whereas the boys, even if they've never wrestled, like I'm tough enough, like just let me in there, I'll rip someone's head off and put them on their back, and then they get humbled real quick.
They've wrestled their buddies.
Exactly, or their little brother.
I watched UFC 297. Like, I'm good.
Can I do an arm bar? Like no, wrong arm bar in our sport, man. But yeah, I think for them, that's the difference for me and boys and girls is just taking them from just giving confidence to even grab the bar, right? Just grab the bar and do that as opposed to just body weight squats or something, and then progress them to add some more weight and add weight. It's pretty cool.
And so, did you see the same thing? Kind of, my girls' team was pretty small when I took over. There was none, and then I think we had like one or two for a couple of years, and then there was a group that had some success, and then like it almost just started like multiplying. Once we had some girls that had some success, like more girls were interested, and then I think what really happened was like I had some like 198s, some 220s, some heavyweight girls that went in, had success, and like kind of like showed that it was all right to be like a badass chick, you know what I mean? Like, and still like part of it was like they still were like feminine young ladies. You know what I mean? So like I think that when people think like a girl that's a power lifter, they probably have a
Trunchable.
Yeah.
Miss Trunchable.
Miss Trunchable, yeah. Chucking people over the fence, right? Like, but it's not, right? It's not necessarily everything you're gonna get. It's just the normal girls that you see on any campus. So once they started having success, all of a sudden it blew up. Like now my classes are like 50-50. There's just as many girls in my classes as there are boys. Did you see kind of the similar like kind of take off?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a couple. I mean, my first girl I ever had power lift, she ended up being a state champion. And so I always call her, the godmother of the team because her success and putting her picture up on the wall in the weight room and stuff is what every kid walking in goes, oh, who's that girl right there? And they see her numbers and, it's just kind of catches fire after seeing a couple kids that had some success. But all my recruiting of girls is all just in my classes. Right, I don't get some girl that comes in with some stud lifter from middle school. Like, there's not really that opportunity. And so, you just kind of build some confidence and then show them some numbers and then, bring a friend with you for, some confidence. And all of a sudden 2 turns into 4. And, my first year was 2 girls. The second year was like 20. And then, last year was like 30 or whatever, 25.
Right. And I don't want to step on you. Like, you've had some successes, right, at both the local and you got some kids going to nationals. You want to talk about that? Maybe I don't want you to feel like you're bragging, but you can go ahead and say like you've won some state titles, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with that, third year in, we won the boys title, and then the year after that, last year we won the girls title, and we're bringing four kids now to nationals next week, which is going to be really exciting and new for me. One of our girls went last year, so she's had some experience doing that, but most of us haven't had any traveling to meets on airplanes, making weight after traveling kind of situations. So, and that too is going to bring even more exposure to the program, right? Seeing that we have one girl, 3 boys going to nationals, hopefully bringing back some sort of medals and stuff will bring some more kids out, I hope.
Right. Here's your coaching advice. The boys better they make weight before they're on the plane.
Yeah.
Not saying that I've had some kids that I've flown across the country for and not make weight. Girls were fine.
Yep.
The girls were. I didn't even think about it. They just took care of business. When I asked one of my boys after he had a second frappuccino waiting for the plane, and he's like, "No, I'm good." I'm like, "I'm really good." I was like, "All right, shit. If you're really good, then I don't care. Have 2 frappuccinos. Missed weight."
Yeah. I mean, because of you, I've been thinking how can I bring this wrestling scale with me on a plane all the way to.
It's your only
Wisconsin.
carry-on. You're like, I don't want anybody to get upset, but I need this.
This briefcase is just metal and.
Yeah.
Mid-flight check.
Yeah. They might let you do it if it was a spring scale.
Does anybody need peanuts? Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Aisle
Not
6.
2B.
Yeah.
Skip it. We're not having it.
Yeah. At 4:00 when they were cutting weight, I was like, even if you make weight, you're gonna be so trash. It's 4 a.m. and you guys are running, but it was probably a better story now, right? And later on when they're adults, they were both really good state champion. They were both really good local lifters, super competitive weight classes. When we got there, they learned a little bit because our heavier kid was on the 4th or 5th rack of his weight class, and it's not random.
Mm-hmm.
They go by what your qualifying total was.
Mm-hmm.
So he was competitive on his rack, but then we were like, well, but look, that's another rack, and there's another rack over there. And then when you get into the pros, the USAPL, the top rack doesn't even lift with you. They already know that those guys are going to kick your ass, so they lift at night in the freaking.
They do the prime time, the
prime
live
time.
stream.
Yeah. It's if you're not at night, you don't even have a chance. I don't even know if you're allowed to win. I guess you could if you just blew it off but you're not even at the real event.
Yeah.
So, but if you ever get a chance to go to that open, I think next year I might bring. I'm going to try to bring Yenny to the open, lift team 3, but then just also qualify open so we can go show the girls here's what grown women lifting looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's an awesome show. I love that. Yeah. Anybody that's into lifting, if you ever have a powerlifting nationals near you, you should go to one of the live events.
Yeah.
If you ever want to feel weak as hell, you should go to one of those. I think I remember deadlift opening up. It's 5. It's dark. It's 5 freaking racks, and the first deadlift was 666, and it's just they're playing Number of the Beast, and that was the first one. Then it was 5 racks of only going up for 2 hours. You know what I mean? It was oh my god, 750, 750, 750, 750. I was
you're opening at 302 kilograms.
Yeah. I was all right, yeah, I think I'm done powerlifting. I'm glad I'm coaching.
Well, that was cool with, this year really trying to branch out with, our group and get into USAPL and start this nationals thing. We put together that high school meet with some other local coaches, and, then I hosted USAPL at the high school. We hosted the Holiday Classic from Team Phoenix, and my kids coming to volunteer and then getting to see, like you just said, the Grant Higa opening up with 600 pounds on his back, stuff like that was cool for them to see, it's bigger than this, and we can also do this after high school,
right,
after college, and even in those meets, you got an 8-year-old little girl lifting, and then you have that 74-year-old person out there lifting too. It's just so cool to see that.
Yeah.
The whole spectrum.
That's my favorite thing about teaching kids to use the weight room is that they can use it for the rest of their life, and it makes a big difference in your quality of life. All the way until the end.
And it might not be that you're there for it. I just noticed something. I don't know if anybody ever looks at the quote.
Yeah. Did I misspell it?
No, but we're back on episode 1.
Oh no, I didn't write 15 up there.
Cofield's a mess. Cofield's a damn mess. Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, you want to throw a 5 up there for us?
Yeah,
Look at this. You're a
15.
producer now.
That means we got to pay you.
Yes.
What if we find out that he's just terrible? Your handwriting better be great. 15. That's just
15.
a 5.
15.
That's just
No,
5.
15.
Number 15.
I didn't hear 15.
I said add or put a 5 up there. Look at that.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
we did it. No, if anybody else wants to be a guest, you know what you're in for.
All of,
Put you to work.
all of our fan is just pissed right now. The production quality of this thing is trash.
We fixed it.
Hey, we're working
Ryan
on
fixed it.
Dude. If you didn't catch the last draft, you don't even know. But anyways, we were talking about, and it doesn't matter that you're not powerlifting or weightlifting the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like this can just be a door to being comfortable in the weight room. Like,
Yeah, just knowing
I
how
don't
to use the gym.
competitively powerlift. You don't competitively powerlift, although you probably dream of it sometimes.
Every
And
once in a while.
I try to convince them. Trust me, all the time. I'm always pushing them into something.
Anytime I'm halfway healthy, it's like, you could probably do 800 if you went for it.
This is
Like,
what I
let's
actually
just-
say is, Cofield, you should go to one of those competitions and let me call you your coach.
Yeah.
Like I'm always
Yeah.
just like, let me just. You can't program. I mean, he has the freakiest programming in history. Like
The
very
best
strange-
programming in history.
It's specific
Yeah.
for sure because he's got a weird body.
Unfortunate fish body.
But he's got an interesting program. I would say that most coaches would get you wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would probably just be like, this guy doesn't like to lift.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just have a very specific.
I love to lift.
Yeah, you just like to lift all out
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah. If I'm going to go to the weight room, I want to feel like I'm going to die.
Yeah, so I couldn't put you on like 4 days on.
No.
And you'd be like,
Day 4, I wouldn't have arms anymore. they'd be gone. You'd be like, that was supposed to be at 60%. I'd be like, 100%?
yeah. So you're hard. You're a hard person to program for. Anyways, God, we are really off the rails on this one.
Yeah. No, we're doing it. We made our guests do work and everything.
Success. Obviously, Olympia had success with Bill. Like Bill was awesome. Yeah. An awesome coach, and then got to move over. Ooh, that's a good one for Olympia people. What was the feeling of Bill going down the street 700 feet to, the lovely world of Tumwater?
The funniest part of that for me is that my dad forever was like, when Coach Otten retires, Beatty's going over there. And I was like, no, he's not. Like, he's not going anywhere. Like, he's going to stay. And my dad, the year before Otten retired, my dad passed away.
Oh, no.
And so when that happened and Beatty went, I was like, oh.
He's laughing up
He
there.
was laughing at me. I knew it. But no, I mean, for me, he was more than just my coach. Like, he was my mentor teacher. When I came back, I student taught underneath him. So, when it happened, it made sense. There was definitely mixed feelings around the our staff and our high school, but it made sense and it made it work. But
Yeah.
Was there anything? So we talked a little Jazz. We had Jazz Warren on a little bit ago, and she said kind of the same thing, that boys need to wrestle well to feel good, and girls need to feel good to wrestle well, right? And was there anything from that experience of coaching the girls wrestling team that changed the way that you approach your football kids? Was there big takeaways from that were like, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I think, and I never know when I picked it up when I started doing it, but, I started learning that, kids in general, I would see them just, by the mat, when they know they're in the hole, they start getting all antsy and getting excited. And sometimes that nervousness was too much for them. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I really learned how to take kids and just distract them, right? When they're in that mode of like you can see they're nervous and scared, not just ready to go. I just crack a joke. Or I started doing this thing where I would just look at kids and be like, what are your 3 goals for this match? What's the first one they always say? Oh, to win.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, winning can't be one. I'm like, what's your 3 goals you want to do? If you do these, you'll probably win, right? But what are your 3 goals? It was usually like, take the first shot. Will I get it or not? Take the first shot. If I end up on bottom, we're gonna get up off the bottom, whatever. But getting them distracted really helped them get their mind clear to go out there and compete. And so I pulled that out, to coach boys, to coach football, to coach powerlifting, like all those kids. It's just like in that moment of hyper stress, you just gotta distract them in some way, get them to crack a smile or give you an eye roll or make fun of me. That's fine. I can take that all day long. But yeah, that's what I really got from coaching those girls. Is just how to distract kids and they get too nervous and focused.
How to help them shift gears.
Yeah, it's great. Like put them in more of a strategic mindset
Yeah.
than just like a primal mindset. And as people probably can tell, like I don't have a PhD or anything, but I would imagine like a temporary spike of adrenaline, let's say powerlifting, when you're about to pull, great. 4 minutes of spiked adrenaline 9 times throughout the day, it's probably going to lead to some pretty depressed nervous system.
Yeah, you're
Right,
not even
like-
going to make it through your deadlifts. You'll be
Right.
tired by the
So
time deadlift
if
rolls
you're
around.
just constantly like, oh, I'm 4 out, and you put your freaking rage music on, and you're just like, just getting yourself hyped up, yeah, that's probably not going to lead to great things by the end. Like, powerlifting is a marathon.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
go lay down somewhere.
save all that for deadlifts at the end. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple girls, mostly the boys that will do that, right? They just get so in their head. They know, like, the more angry I get, the more I'm going to lift. With deadlift, it might work, but for squats, it's not going to work at all.
Right.
Right. But yeah, mindset is
Yeah.
a very interesting thing to work
If anything, it's probably just going to get you out of position.
with. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to explode out of the bottom. Your butt's
Oh,
going to shoot up. And
We've seen a million of those in
Right.
youth meets, right? Is kids go in for a squat or something, they dump it forward, or their bench touches at their belly button or something. Like they just get way out of pocket doing wild stuff.
I was just talking about this to a kid. It was like, I don't know, I was benching with kids, and it might have been like 245 was on the bar. And I like set up, I sat down, set my feet, set my back, set my shoulders, grabbed the bar, right? Like, it looked like I was going for a max. And
Yeah.
I unlit, you know what I mean? And I just smoked it. And he's like, oh, I thought we were going to have to spot you. He's like, why did you set up that way? It's like, that's what my warm-ups look like.
Yeah.
Every one of my reps look the same, so my body gets used to doing that. You know what I mean? I got to have that conversation of just like, every attempt we should
Right.
be in a rhythm. Like, it should not be randomness and coming in from one side or the other side. Like, your body needs to know, oh, we're about to do something. You know what I mean? And that only happens with routine. And then you get the adrenaline dump without the music, without all that stuff. Your body just knows, like, oh, he's doing that thing again. We need a little bit of adrenaline. So, yeah, it was interesting. You almost forget, like, and, you come across this, like, you go through waves of realizing things you haven't taught. Like, little tips and secrets. You're like, oh, I've not told this group of kids this thing. I need to go make sure that I do that. Like, probably need a checklist. But, my brain, like, I just don't know what's going on. Like, I've not taught you guys how to bench yet. Like, coach is 6 months into the season, man. Oh, shit, my bad. It's bench, squat, and deadlift?
In what order? What order are we going? Is it
Don't
different
worry
today?
about it. Just lift.
You show up at the meet, you're like, where's the arm wrestling tables at? Why do we have all these big racks?
That was like having the Moss wrestling. We used to always go to the Northwest Christian. They pulled out a kids like, what is happening? I'm like, just go sit over there. Don't get hurt. And I just want you to watch the show. Don't
Yeah.
I might be misremembering. And if Pat, you watch this and I'm misremembering, I apologize. But I am pretty sure the first time they did that, or maybe the second time they did that, it was during the break. Remember, we used to have really long breaks. And it was between the break of bench and deadlift. It was in the meet. And my kids were like, oh, let's do it. I was like, hell no. You're not going to go do Moss wrestling, which, if you don't know, is just two people yanking on a stick for as long as humanly possible. Like, probably as close to a deadlift as you could possibly get. As, like, I'm just talking, like, forearm strength.
Okay,
right? Like,
sure.
Yeah, like,
Same muscles, I guess.
yes. Yeah. Like, let's do that right before we go do a max deadlift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like you sit down on the ground and then there's a board in between you and your competitor, and so it's like a deficit, like an 8-inch deficit deadlift because
Yeah.
you're reaching down to where they're at, and then
8-inch deficit bent back RDL.
Yeah, where you're
And
fixed to the
tug of
earth.
war.
Yeah, you can't get your butt down below the bar or anything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible sport, but it's definitely like a terrible sport for beginners. Like, you got to build some volume in that, I think.
Definitely a terrible sport to do a tournament right before deadlift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Goodness. Then they finally moved it afterwards, and it's like, all right. It was a fun thing because it took a long time for awards. Like, that's something else.
Yeah,
But
wild.
let's just pay attention to our fatigue here. But that's why some teams win and some teams don't win.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, we took home the Moss Wrestling title. It's sick.
We bombed that on deadlift, everybody.
Everybody. Two
terrible now.
people got hurt. It was weird. Don't know why.
Oh, man. So when because correct me if I'm wrong, you're not coaching football anymore. Was it during the move there? Like, did you when Beatty left see it out, or was it?
No, I stayed on. I stayed on with the basically our staff pretty much all stayed.
Okay.
Beatty left, and then one or two guys retired at that point. But our whole staff stayed on and coached for another couple of years. But I found the right time when I could step away from football because I got the twins, and they were like 5 at that point. My wife was like, it's probably time that you step away from coaching since you have 2
Yeah, it'd be nice if you were home
5-year-olds
sometimes.
a couple
Yeah.
times, not coaching 2 sports and getting into powerlifting at that point too. So
And that's always hard. Like having stepped down this year from powerlifting and football, like these kids, right? Like just today, a kid was like, "You're not coaching my senior year." It's like, but any year I don't coach is someone's senior year. Like I realize that you feel like I'm targeting you because I'm stepping down. But like, let's say I stay one more year, that's the junior senior year. You know what I mean, or the sophomore senior year.
yeah.
So, and this is what I told him. I was like, listen, like I stepped away from my girls powerlifting as well. I'm not coaching that. And Yenny is one of the strongest girls in any weight class on the planet.
Yeah.
Like if we took her to the Open Nationals right now, she wouldn't win and she wouldn't be competing for a title, but she would compete. She wouldn't look out of place. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like I try to tell her these things, like she just won that like Sports Illustrated Athlete of the Week and everything, like, and she's always like, okay. And I'm like, Yenny, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And like she's a young Guatemalan girl, and I was like, Yenny, I guarantee you are the strongest Guatemalan woman on the planet. That's a legitimate, like she's only like
Statistically speaking, probably true.
Yeah, it's just outright true. I guarantee it. Like her total last year as a junior in high school was like 14th in the world of powerlifting. Unlimited women's in the open. I guess I could be wrong. One of those 13 could be Guatemalan, and all right, cool. You're the second strongest woman from your country on the planet. That's dope as shit.
Yeah.
I was like, you know how far down that list of American men, you know what I mean? Like, the printer would blow up before it ever got to Monroe. Like, it would be so depressingly far down there. But, like, to me, like, that's a super cool thing. And she's so humble. And, like, she's just like, yeah, okay. Okay. I was like, God damn it, you be a guy so I could drive you with achievement. You know what I mean? Like, that's, God dang it. You know what I mean? But,
Well, back to what you said about, how hard it is to step away from coaching. There's always one more kid. That's what I fought for years. Right? When kids are born, I'm like, I should probably spend more time at home. But there's always that next special kid, and I had a girl that was like nationally ranked in wrestling. I couldn't step away from her. And for football, the whole staff stepped away at the same time. I think I was running after Beatty. When he left, we all left. So that was easy. But with wrestling, it was after COVID, and I had one returning girl, and I was just like, this will never happen again, right? Like, that kid was awesome. I was bummed that I couldn't be there for her senior year, but I'm like, I'll never just break one heart stopping coaching, right? Like, This has got to be the time, because the next year I would have, I'm competitive, so I would have got it back up to 10, 12 girls and kept it rolling. So I was like, this is my moment.
sometimes it's just right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Then I started coaching powerlifting, and then I'm now coaching a longer season sport that takes me away from the state even now.
Yeah, everybody's always just like, what is it? It's like 6 days. He's got to coach 6 days. It's like, you don't even understand. Like, I don't understand how powerlifting is so draining. But it is, man. It's constant. Like, how many times I've had just spreadsheets of all of your guys' lifters on my weight room walls. And then, like, I host the meet and I got to pull all that shit down. You know what I mean? I've got arrows going like, all right, like, okay, I'll send this girl down and her up, and we'll wait till the Shelton meet at the end of it. We won't make any of these moves, and you know what I mean? Like, it's like a mad scientist to be good at that thing. I guess unless you just have badasses and it's just like, go lift. But
I remember the last 2 years we were texting the whole time leading up to state, just like, what weight's this girl going? I don't know. What weight's this girl going? Hey, you'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'll see. She hasn't told me yet. I'm like, no, she's told you. You're just not telling me.
I'm watching her on the treadmill right now. Like, I think she's staying up. Don't worry.
She's going up.
Like, yeah. But yeah, it's a great sport, and like powerlifting, you know. And I really want to get into like programming and stuff, or you know, what we really hold true. But powerlifting, the thing that I love about it is this camaraderie. Like, I'm not having those same conversations, you know, with like for us, like North Mason. Like, we didn't play them last year, but like after the season, I don't want to go up to North Mason and have a conversation with their coaches. You know what I mean? Like, other coaching staffs, like we just had on Steve Amrine and Kelso. Like, he whooped my ass this year. You know what I mean? But like, there are some groups where it's just like, all right, that's your rival, and like that's built into, and they weren't even a rival when I didn't even know they had a football team. Like when we were in high school, I think they were 1A, and we were 2 years of 3A and 2 years of 4A. So it wasn't really a team that we played. But just like in county, it's the only other high school, I guess Merriam and I, but the only other high school that plays
That we're gonna play,
11-man football. So like that, and then like they had whooped our butts, and the kids are close enough. Like the kids can decide. Some of the kids can decide to go either way. The kids that live north of Shelton and south of North Mason. So I've always loved, although not that I haven't argued with a powerlifting coach or blown up on at a meet or something. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you get heated, and most of the time it's for your athletes, right? But most of the time
They got the wrong flavor Gatorade.
pour it out. But like I just love, like, it's super big. Like not only coaching, I feel like it's big. We're all in together, but also like it's the sport where competitors can literally be like, it's me versus you, and then they're rooting for each other. You know what I mean? Like you're watching. Like I've seen kids watch their state championship get lost on the final deadlift, and then high five the kid and give him a hug and be like, you know what I mean? Like good lift. It's like such a unique, and I don't want that to be in every sport. I don't want that to be football. I love
Having a villain.
you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not the greatest. Like, you probably shouldn't copy Monroe. There's plenty of times, like, if I feel like you're on the other side and you were being dirty, like, when we go through, I'm not shaking people's hands. You know what I mean? I'll shake the kids' hands. But when we get to the coaches, I just take a left. I'm like, I'm not touching any of you dirty-ass people. You know what I mean? Just fucking, hey, I want to, fist fight. Like, the amount of times I've almost been in a fist fight as a coach on a football field is probably too many times as an adult that works in a school. You know what I mean? Like, but like, so it's maybe that's what it is I'm just so like spiked after football season that powerlifting is like chilled out. It's like all right,
A nice contrast.
Yeah. And then I get hyped. Like I got so last year I was a head football coach at Shelton, and just before getting hired on the head football coach, I had been removed from the sideline of a youth football game for a 7th grade. The official kicked me off the sideline for running my mouth. I was the chain guy running my mouth because he sucked, man. I don't know if you watch, but you suck, dude. He just was terrible. But I did some stuff that was definitely crazy. I thought it was fucking hilarious. It was hilarious. Everybody I tell the story to thinks it's hilarious. But he was right to be like, you're out of here. But I was like, I don't care. This guy has no idea who I am. No idea. Our AD got a letter like a week later that was like, please inform your strength coach, Josh Rideau, that he's not allowed at the middle school games on the sideline anymore. He's like, what the fuck is this? I was like, oh, my bad, man. Like, I was running my mouth a little bit.
Okay, so I guess takeaway for coaches, there's times to be passionate and times to be dispassionate. And when there's children around, it's probably not the time to...
I was on their sideline.
Yeah.
Our kids couldn't see it.
Yeah, okay.
Centralia kids could, I guess, a little bit.
That makes it better.
Listen. The kid fumbled the ball forward like 30 yards out of bounds, and the guy spotted the ball where it went out of bounds. 30 yards, like gave him a first down. The ball just shot out of his hands. And I was like, dude, that would be the best offense in history. You just fumble it, run to the edge, and just fumble that shit out of bounds. 20, gain of 20.
Yeah.
He's like, don't you think we would see that? And he's like, that's the rule. And so I pulled my phone out and I loudly asked Siri. And it was like, a fumble forward, it goes back to the spot of the foul. And he was like, you're gone. And I was like, damn it. I was like, yeah, it was probably too much. But there's only like 8 seconds left in the game. Come on. You're an official. That's what
I don't think you're going to win me over on this one.
Well, if you were there. You don't know football enough, man. That's a stupid, that's day one. You can't fumble the ball out of bounds and get the ball. It goes out of bounds.
I mean, the moment it happened, I would have spent the rest of the game trying to do it as a player.
Yeah, absolutely. You would. That's a badass move. Yeah. Run to the edge, fumble it 40 yards up the field.
Yeah.
Get it where it goes out.
I'd be like, give me the ball. They'd be like, you can't run. I'd be like, nobody cares. Trust me. It's going to be fine.
I can fumble really good, though.
Yeah.
Fumbler.
Yeah. When this guy hits me, I'm going to have the best
They're just
fumble.
playing a defense where there are 5 guys on each sideline. No one's even guarding the middle. He's like, he's going to the edge again. Block it. Yeah. Anyways, powerlifting is fucking dope. You should do it.
Yeah.
If you like to compete.
Yeah.
Well, and back to your point too about how like supportive it is. That's what I tell kids who are so scared to go to their first meet. Right? They're like, it's going to be a bunch of just meathead, scary people, and I'm just this little 120-pound guy. And I'm like, it's the weirdest thing ever, and I don't think I could do it as an athlete. But like, they're all going to cheer for you. Like, I'm the kind of guy that's like, I hope you miss so I can beat you. Like, I know we have the same brain that way.
Yeah.
I'm not cheering for you to beat me. But, like, all these kids, like you said, I remember lots of kids, like, giving hugs to people after they just beat them on a big deadlift. I'm like, I don't work that way, but just so you know, all the kids you're going to go see work that way. So it's going to be supportive for you, whether you do well or not. They're all going to be your friends now.
No. The amount of children that I've hoped fail is staggering.
Yeah. So, some are yours.
Yeah, well, that was one. Did I tell that story?
Yeah. You told it on the show.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say the kid's name, but
that's
it
good.
burned into my eye. Right when you said it, I was like, "Oh, that's not good." Yeah, I wish he did fail, and now he's not doing too good. And I think failure would have probably helped him out. Sometimes failure is good.
Yeah.
You can't just be told you're great all the time when everything isn't going all right. But no, he won.
I found it pretty easy to recruit kids for powerlifting because the conversation usually goes like, "What do you like?" The kids ask, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "You hang out in the weight room with your friends, and then when you go to meets, you like listen to music and take naps and eat snacks and then lift some weights." And they're like, "Okay, I can do snacks and naps. I can get into that."
And snacks is the biggest part of that too. My wife at our meet we just hosted a couple weeks ago. My wife was working on the tables and she met one of my kids and she's like, "That kid just constantly eats." He's like 198 and he'd made weight and he just ate the whole time. And she's like, "Look," and he looks over and he's sitting there with these like gummy candies just going to town on him. And then I was like, he looked over and saw us and was like, "Oh." But I was like, yeah, that's all they do is they just eat and take naps. It's a great quote.
That deadlift.
That's wrestling too.
Yeah.
Besides getting your face beat in too.
We had just talked about that of like watching kids at the state meet, like seeing them leave. You know, you could see them leave the mat after their last loss and just the emotion. But then you don't see them for a while because they kind of disappear around the side. And then by the time you see them again, maybe 10, 15 minutes later, and they're coming down the stairs with whatever they've decided to eat, ice cream, nachos, and just how happy they are. Like, all the disappointment and failure is already gone just because they have now, like, shitty food. They're just like, yes. It's like, that's kind of a funny... You also don't see that rebound very often in many sports. Like, after the last game of football, 15 minutes, like, normally there's just 60 kids in a room still crying. You know what I mean? Like, it's just heartbreak. There's, like, same kids after wrestling. Probably more emotionally heartbreaking right away. And then just like sugar.
Yeah.
Just eating. It's like, wow, this is a kind of a
Tacoma Dome Dippin' Dot saved the day.
It's $75.
Yeah, that is kind of an interesting thing that wrestling is such a personal thing. You know, like you're the one on the mat. Like you don't have to worry about if you let the team down so much or anything. Like obviously there's still a big teamwork component of it, right? Because you have people you train with and you want them to be successful and you want to show up.
And the coaching relationships. And stuff,
yeah. But they're like that team element of it's very different, you know?
Right.
Like, I would be very upset with myself if I had made a mistake that was significant in a team game, but much less upset with myself if I made a mistake that cost me.
I'll be vague here. I know a kid that missed a field goal that would have sent our team to the playoffs more than 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. Everybody still hates that person.
Oh, poor guy.
Like, they hate him. And it's like, damn. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's when you wrap friendships up with emotion. Like, shit happens.
Yeah.
Everybody. His parents probably like him. His dad was a big fan of the team, so I'm not sure.
That'd be funny if even his dad was like...
His mom loves him.
He's like, hey, should I come home for Thanksgiving? And his dad's like, can you go back in time and make that field goal?
Oh, that's so good. Let's talk nationals a little bit. Let's give your kids a little bit of a pump here. Who you got going?
Yeah, so I'm taking Nora Andreasen at 165, who's her QT is like second right now at that weight class, so she's gonna do some pretty crazy things. Then bringing three boys: Drew Jacoby, one of my 132, Jackson Walter, my 148, who's peaking at the right time right now, and then our friggin' hammer. Winter Caledonia just decided like 2 weeks ago to go. Added a whole day to my trip just because he decided 2 weeks ago to go. Mess up my whole flights, but yeah, he's gonna go and he's a deadlift monster. So I'm excited to see what he can do there. But it's gonna be cool. It kind of sucks. I've gone to travel twice now for powerlifting, both to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Last year we went to Worlds and it was in Green Bay, which was awesome. And then I was like, oh, where's nationals? Oh, Appleton, Wisconsin. Like, cool. Same airport, same
Yeah.
everything. Like, sweet. I have another a connecting flight somewhere different to make it kind of different.
You were hoping to like get Miami and just abandon the kids and go hang out on the beach for
Yeah,
4 days.
absolutely.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Green Bay on the water? Like, I'm pretty sure when I looked, like, I'm pretty sure it was like, when we were still planning on going, I was like, what the hell to do in Appleton? And it was like, it basically just said, like, I thought it was Green Bay, but it's like drive 1 hour away to a different city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like on the lake or something. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess there's nothing to do in Appleton.
Well, I scored randomly. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she said that she's from Wisconsin, and her husband is too, and he lived in Appleton, so they gave me all the spots to go eat at least. But,
Yeah.
It's not South Carolina and New Orleans where you got to go.
Yeah, that's why I took this sabbatical off. Appleton? Hell no, dude. I ain't coaching this year. You gotta fly me out to nicer places. I went to Chicago 1 year. Like, that wasn't great.
Did you get deep dish at least?
We did.
All right.
Yeah, saw the bean. Bean was pretty cool. But it was like, the people of Chicago were like, don't go more than 2 blocks that way. I was like, why? It's like, that starts the most dangerous neighborhood in America. And I was like, 2 blocks that way. What's 2 blocks that way? And they're like, no, you're great. You're fine. It's wonderful right down there. It's like, I'm really good with directions, but when I'm coming back to my car, if I fuck up, 2 blocks is not a long space, you know what I mean? Like, I get that they're city blocks, but holy crap, can we get some signage? Like, tourists, stop, turn around. I feel like that's just appropriate. Probably not going to get that in Appleton.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious though if you got into town and you're like, hey,
I don't know. It could be crazy.
I want to, like I was hoping to eat here and I was hoping to eat here, and everybody in town's like, go the long way to the second place. You gotta go around. You can't go straight through.
You need to Uber that block for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Here's the problem: is Appleton is home of Nina, and they don't even got to travel to nationals this year.
Yeah.
They already win every goddamn weight class, anyways. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna maul. Those kids are staying at home. You know what I mean? Like, goodness. Not that they don't travel. They have a bus. They travel to nationals on a damn bus. 2 drivers through the night. It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited to go though this year because I'm gonna embarrass Nora real fast because my favorite coaching story in the past couple of years. She was the one that went nationals last year, and I ended up I was supposed to go to this concert that night, but I was like, hey guys, I know you're here, but I'm gonna be live streaming nationals so I can coach her and tell her numbers and stuff as she's going. And after her 3rd deadlift, she missed her 3rd deadlift, and I pull my phone out. I'm like, hey, you almost got that. We'll have that at state. It's gonna be fine. And she just texts back, I literally hate you right now. That's all she sent back to me. I was like, it was your numbers. I just gave them back to you to do. But yeah, so now I'll get to see that in person with more, passion behind it, I'm sure. But she's going to hit all the numbers anyway.
Well,
so.
that's always the great. That is the greatest of, like, that happens all the time of, like, what should I take next? And it's like, all right, well, normally it's pretty close. Like, at most, probably a range of 10 pounds. Like, you're taking...
our stock advice
70,
is
75, or 80, like one of those things. How do you feel? I don't really know. Okay, well, you've done 75 before, and in certain situations this won't work. But so, like, let's not tie a PR. Let's go 80. Like, I saw that. I know you can tie your PR. Let's try a new PR. Let's go about 5. And then they'll miss, and they'll be like, "What the hell? I should have went down." Say, yeah, you asked me, man. Like, goodness, like, it's not that big. I mean, it's a big deal, but holy crap. We're in the weight room. We're just doing a max. It's not like we're at a meet or anything like that. But it's
just having fun.
It's always the hardest thing. I'm just going to start lowballing everybody so they just feel great. Like, Coach, I did so well. Like, yeah, it was awesome. You could have done 30 pounds more. But
Well, see, I play defense on that. So our kids, the week before the meet, we do what I call mapping. And so we do this mapping assignment together where we pick our opener and then where we're going to branch off to. And we do this whole thing. So we've done this together.
Right.
And so if you miss one of those numbers, I mean... That's on us.
Right.
But if you go off that map and you miss it, you get to say, that was your fault. We said you're going 275. You went 300 trying to win this meet and missed. I said 75 was there. So
yeah,
you get to play defense ahead of time.
Good. Yeah. Going off. Do you give them the opportunity to go off the map if they want to?
On deadlift, of course, right? Because you're like, hey, man, if you
Pull
hit
to
this
win.
PR, you're going to pull to win. Exactly.
Yeah, like if you're, let's say you're in 3rd place, but you're secure in 3rd, 4th can't catch you, and like you want to take a shot at 2nd, or if it's real close, like you just want to pull it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they always come and ask me, and I'll give them that, like, hey, we planned for this, but if you want to go for it, that's on you. And like, I feel like it might be there, but That's on you now.
That was the joy of having when we were real small, or when had more coaches. Like,
Yeah.
I was on the wall like the whole time, figuring out. Like, I would try to figure out who your 10 lifters are, doing team scores, figuring out like, all right, they're going to probably take this, and then we're going to go here. Well, let's low ball, stay underneath them so that they have to put their, like they're going to put their deadlift, then we're going to come back and put our deadlift above theirs. When the team got so big, I was just like, I didn't even count points anymore.
Yeah.
Like, the kids would be like, did we win this meet? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
How did you do?
I was
like,
running.
Did you win? Like, I almost turned into just like enjoying, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many kids that you could coach, like I talked about, but like, you got your few that you're coaching hard, and then everybody else is like peripheral advice. Like, you can't coach 60 kids at once. Like, it's not a possible thing.
Yeah, and that's why I started that mapping thing, because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to coach all you guys. These kids really need me because we're watching numbers or whatever, but I've already coached you. Here's your paper.
Yeah.
Like, we've made this plan together, so we can go do that.
And then you almost assign a rack coach.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, make sure that these guys are doing
Yeah.
good. Like,
Last year, I will tell you, and you'll love this, that I did bring in a guy just to watch numbers for me to make sure that we were, competitive in those first place spots. So I had a coach that, my buddy who coaches wrestling, who's just my math guy. Like, you're my numbers guy. Here's my clipboard. Here's the ones you're watching. Just do numbers and tell me what they need to do, and I'll do it.
Listen, I had exactly which one of your girls had to lose, like what Monty girl had to jump, you know what I mean? So I'm like watching kids from other schools, like, well, that bench wasn't great. What the hell are you doing, girl? I need you to win. You know what I mean? But like, I had actually told it was probably the first time you guys were so far ahead. Like, there was a window, but it would have been a catastrophic failure. And like I was telling, like I went home and told my wife, I was like, I can't root to win.
Yeah.
Like, it would be like, your girls are so awesome. Then I was like, it would be such a heartbreaking loss. Like, of course I'm going to celebrate, but it was like, damn, you don't want to win like that.
No.
You just want to put together a better team.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I've always been the type talking about like different competition mentalities. I want everybody to have their best day, and then I want to beat them. I don't care about just winning. Like, I don't mind losing. That's okay. But like, I want everybody to show up feeling great and then lose. That's my goal every time I go out.
Yeah. And the powerlifting is a funny thing. I guess it's for every sport, but like, sure, there is part of it is programming your kids to like get stronger, and I can't speak for every school, but a lot of schools that participate in powerlifting, like, it's not the greatest run of athletes, right? Like, we don't have like a, just like IMG Academy of Florida.
Yeah,
like,
the bodies are different, right? Like,
Right.
the powerlifting, you definitely can take advantage of having big athletes who are really good, right? But like football, you want the big guys. Basketball, you want the big guy. Like, you want the big bodies in so many of the other sports.
Right.
And so powerlifting is, one of a few sports where, if you are undersized, it's not a problem. You can still find a spot to be competitive and participate.
When my previous head coach was like, well, why don't you guys get beat by the bigger schools? Like, why are we so successful in powerlifting, but we're not having success in other sports? And I was like, well, okay, let's take like Bellevue. If they came in and they, like, most badass football players are going to be like in the 198 or above. So you might bring 30 guys, but you only get to count 6 of those guys. And guess what? In 2 of those weight classes, there's going to be freaks from OMAC.
Yeah.
Or Sunnyside that have lifted bales of hay and cows for their whole life.
Yeah, you just get mutants sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't account
so
for it.
you can't, like, I think the 242 in heavyweight is so unpredictable. Like, I've seen, we've talked about it. Like, there's kids that all of a sudden it'll be 3 kids at 1,500. Like, I've seen a kid take third with a 1,500 pound total.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen kids win at 12th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's such an unpredictable world, and it's getting a little bit more consistent. Like,
Yeah, as
lately,
the sport's growing in
as the sports
popularity
grow,
and stuff, yeah.
You just don't know where that freak is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I do a really good job recruiting. Like, in most of my state championships, it was because I won the 165 below. I just won all 5. And if you win 5, I've not seen somebody win 5. And I don't know that I've seen someone win 4 of the weight classes and lose.
I remember one of my greatest heartbreaks was coaching powerlifting. We had, because anytime you find out that a kid's like 90 pounds, you're like, oh, hell yeah, you should be a power lifter. This is a sport designed for you, right? And we had this girl who was like really great in terms of quality of movement. She'd been on the dance team forever, and she was like 4'8" and like 102 pounds or something. And I was like, you are going to do powerlifting. You don't have any choice. You have to come do it. And so she came and tried out, and her squats looked like she'd been doing them for 40 years. Like, they were just beautiful. Her deadlifts were beautiful. Her bench press was beautiful. And I was like, you, for the love of all that's good, please do this sport. Like, you will be a state champion in your first year. You will be a state record holder in your second year. Like, she was a pretty athletic girl too, for like, you know, her frame and everything. And she didn't stick with it, and it was just soul crushing.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like when I won my first, the boys title, I knew it was because I pulled, you know, I just had this strong kid who was small in one of my classes, like, dude, you're going to come check this out. He's like, I don't know if I can get work off that day. I was like, you need to get these 3 days off, and you're going to come do this. You're strong
3 days,
enough.
man.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and that year there was 3 114s total. And so he was just the best of the 3 dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I pulled a football kid that was an undersized DB sophomore that lifted just for 1 year for me, and he won it at 132. So,
Right.
yeah, you start piling up those points early. And I don't think that year I had a heavyweight that placed. Nobody in either bigger weight classes. It was just all those lightweight points and a third place from a heavyweight.
Yeah. The way I look at it is like everybody that's like 220 pounds or more, men, and are freaky strong, have probably found powerlifting. They've seen it somewhere because they got a good bench press, so they're YouTubing bench press, and then they look at squats and deadlifts and they're like, oh, I'm a strong person. It's a kind of a natural road for a big, strong boy. It's not necessarily what 120 pound kids, because they're also looking at the bench. They might bench 130 for their body weight is going to be super competitive.
Yeah, or even 200 or something,
Right.
where for their body weight is super competitive,
Yeah.
and they don't think it's good.
But then they're YouTubing, and it's like, you know, everybody's like, oh, you only bench 225, you suck. You know what I mean? It's like, well, they're not talking about you, man. They're talking about other, like, large gym rats. You know, like, we forget that. I said on one of the other episodes, like, everybody that is freaky strong or has a freaky physique, like, every one of those people are on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of them. Like, those are basically it. Everybody else is not that person. Because if you're a freak and you have a freak's physique or a freaky strong, like, you probably want to brag about it. You probably made a goddamn Instagram about it. You probably post about it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, but that's all the kids see. So they assume, like, oh, everybody's benching 335. No, the hell they aren't. And I know your dad told you that he did, but he fucking didn't. I promise you, your uncle didn't do it either. All right? They didn't. I promise. Their asses benched 275, and maybe they forgot. Maybe they did a negative at 315 once or something, or a buddy helped them. But
What's your uncle's name? Spotto?
right, he did all right. But yeah. So one thing that I find interesting, I guess, is almost like, I don't know what you'd call it. Not a fault of mine, but like insecurity is like, I feel like I'm an okay programmer, but a lot of times, like, I rely on my relationship building to run the program. You know, like, there's just, like, I've seen lots of really good programming. I've been around lots of good programming. But if you're not building those relationships, like, I really feel like the programming, that's like the one thing that interests me about, like, being a good online coach. Like, I feel like I talked to Josh about that, Josh Gibson. Like, that to me is almost an oxymoron, right? Like, a good online coach. Like, how the hell do you, like, and that's something we're interested in, right? Getting into the world of online coaching. It's like, how are you, like, my way of coaching, it's going to be weird to translate that to online, because I'm going to have to be doing a lot of messaging. Like, I'm going to be asking for tons of video back and forth, you know what I mean? Like, but a lot of it is just personality driven, trying to get the kids just to unlock effort. Like, I really believe at most levels, now, once you get to college or a top level high school where you're dealing with all Ferraris, like, yes, programming's really going to start to matter. You probably should be zooming in on a lot of these things. For the most part, it's just like, almost all programs, if you can convince the kids to come in, lift hard, eat okay, sleep kind of, and like maybe like get off social media for like half a minute, like, you're probably going in the right direction. Like, you're probably speeding down the highway of gains. Like, so for me, like, getting like super into the weeds of like programming. Now, I do pay attention a lot. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not constantly switching and tweaking and things like that, but like getting ultra deep into the details. Like, I don't have a kinesiology degree, and, you know, like I'm watching Jeff Nippard, you know what I mean? Like, that is a good point there, Jeff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said, really, I'm going to start twisting here. So, but like, I don't get super deep into like worrying about programming. Like I'm a personality guy. Like I feel like you're a similar guy. Like just build up those relationships.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with programming, at the end of the day, all of our kids, they're all beginners, right? We have high level kids. You have kids like Yenny, and my kids are going to nationals this year. They're really good, but they're still basically beginners.
Yenny
right?
still only lived for 18 months.
Exactly, right? Yeah, and I made Jackson, start lifting for me last year, like February, right? So they're all beginners, and so the more stimulus you just give them to keep doing with consistency, they're gonna have those gains, right? So whatever I throw at them, if they can be consistent, they're gonna get stronger. But they're gonna do more for you when they care about the program, they care about the kids around them. Those girls last year, they just wanted to win everything, and so they lifted together. They were the only group I've ever had that only lifted at the high school. They didn't go to the Valley, the YMCA, that stuff. They just would find time. We'd meet the high school. I'd let them in. I'd do wrestling stuff, or I'd be there with them lifting too. But they built that bond, and so that's why they
started heckling me. You're going down, Monroe. I'd won 5 straight titles. Like they're like, it's not happening again. Well, you're never winning again. They would say like.
I remember that after state. I was like, "Hey guys, calm down. I like this guy. Like, relax." Yeah.
We're taking Yenny's knees out. One of them said. It's like, oh my God, what is going on here? These Olympia people.
None of them are strong enough to break those knees, man. I posted last year when she won everything. Yenny was my hero, and it really is true. Like she's crazy. but like just like you, those relationships to get those kids to just buy into wanting to do that for themselves, want to do that for their teammates. I have the wall of pictures when they win state. They get a plaque and a picture up there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I started doing that out of nowhere, and then they, as a coach's gift, made me a sign to put up there that says, sorry, I forgot what it says, but it's like, pitch champions or something. And so, it's those times you spend with them to make them really want to get good at something. That's what makes them good. It's not that I found the best program that some high-level dude posted. I just said, here, do this and come see me in May, make them want to be good.
Do you intentionally structure, like, do you give leadership positions to girls? Like, do you try to encourage them to coach each other, or to the boys on your, weightlifting groups, your powerlifting groups?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't really, leaders are natural, right? Mm-hmm. You can't make somebody be a leader. So I have kids. I might not be my best lifter, but they're the kids that are going to step up, and I might say, hey, you're not lifting this meet because this meet doesn't matter, but I need you to be with those 2 kids to make sure they pick the right numbers, give them confidence, that kind of stuff. So, but again, that's, relationships kind of flow down when you build that to, hey, you make this kid your successor. After next year, you're graduating. We only get 4 years with these kids if we're lucky. And so I got to have another one ready to go. And so they can build that relationship with each other too.
Yeah.
I heard this. I wish I knew who it was. I should have been taking Alpha Brain earlier. You know what I mean? I would have fucking snapped that right away.
It's like the 3rd Alpha Brain plug
really
in here.
On that sponsorship, man.
I'm trying to transform all the way into Joe Rogan.
Is that the goal?
Yeah.
So eventually I'll be out of here.
Yeah.
It'll just me.
You'll be Jamie. You'll see the edits. I'll be like, Kyle, I'll upload the video. Just as part of the social media, and I'll upload, and you'll like see it one day, and the camera will just be panned to me the whole time. Me and the guests, there'll be whole parts where there's no talking because it's your talking just dubbed out. But he said, like, we have such this like fascination with leadership. Like, let your leaders, you could tell the leaders in a group almost immediately. Like, give them one task, and the leaders will pop up. Like, we need to teach followship, not fellowship, but followship. Like, teach kids how to, like, if you just teach every kid how to be a leader, then who the hell's taking orders? You know what I mean? Like, start teaching kids to learn how to just fall in line. Like, that doesn't mean you're always not the leader, right? But, like, I actually said that, like, in every job interview I have. The one skill that the military gave me was that, because, like, I was in a leadership position, right? I was a team leader. Okay, so I lead these guys, but it's also just as important, probably even more important, that I'm also following at the exact same time what my squad leader said. And he's leading all of us, but he's got to listen to the platoon sergeant. You know what I mean? So, like, learning how to both lead. I could take on something all by myself, right? Lorna gave me the keys to powerlifting and was like, you did it. Slapped me on the butt. Was like, the kids are in there. I was like, oh, okay. And I just, you know what I mean? I could do it. If I got to do it alone, I could do it alone. But also, you could throw me into a football group where I'm the lowest person on the totem pole, and I can do that perfectly fine. Do I need to mop the floors and, you know what I mean, pick up the kids' crap and clean out lockers. Yeah, I could be a follower. So like that's such a like an art to be a follower, and I feel like we get away from that. You know what I mean? Like, because no, like what an unsexy class to teach, right? Like you want to like I'm teaching leadership. I'm the fellowship teacher. But it's so important, man. You can't have a team without people. Like, not everybody gets to be the captain. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Well, and too, like the kids and people learning who to follow, right? It's not always the best kid in your room. We find that in wrestling. You know, this year we had a hard time picking captains because, you know, our best kid in the room wasn't the most vocal kid at that time.
Right.
So he's not going to be the leader that's going to get everybody going and get them fired up and, you know, put them in their place when they need to. But the kids wanted to follow that kid. And it's like, you know, you got to learn not just how to follow, but how to pick the right person. And plus, too, like, you know, with our lifters, they all want to follow all these giant dudes on Instagram and, like, I'm going to do this workout because that's what this giant juiced up freak has been doing on Instagram. It's like, you're not
Hey,
you're
we're
not
having
that
that guy next week, man. Calm down.
Not that guy, the other guy.
No, we actually are having a real big guy. It's not who I was talking about. That was a joke there. I just realized we have.
And then all of a sudden the schedule popped in your brain, and we're like, we
I was
do
like,
have a
I
giant
actually
guy
have a very
coming.
large, strong man coming in here that could squish me like a goddamn grape. Like,
I will not be here that day.
my bad, buddy.
But it's for that. It's looking at that guy and be like, I can train like him to then be him. It's like not yet, right? You're the beginner thing. You're still a beginner. You got to get to that point. But learning, you know, hey, find a really good kid that's 18 that just went through USAPL Nationals. That's the kind of kid you see what they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Find the right people to follow and the right people to learn from.
Yeah, and those people might be at a different part of their development.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We talk about that like a lot of things in the football world. A lot of coaches will be like, well, let's go, you know, like I've made lots of visits to, like, let's go see what UW's doing. You know, and we had the former UW strength coach on. He's now at Alabama. If you just went there, like we had a guy, Caleb Schlotterhoff, he went to the NFL, and when he came back, he gave Coach Hinkle, his like off-season workout from when he was with the Jets. I'm pretty sure it was Jets because he wasn't at the Packers long enough. So he was at the Jets. And I like looked through it and I was like, so awesome, but you're not going to build any strength with this because it's NFL players. They all squat minimum 5. The kicker probably squats 500 pounds. You know what I mean? Like they're not interested in developing strength. Like if you could give that to the team and it would have been a nightmare. It would have been a nightmare. No, the kids would have been super weak because it was a prehab assignment. You know what I mean? There was some lifting at 75% and stuff, and I'm sure they had some days they got them going, but they're not there to strength train. Like their absolute strength was there. Like we just need to develop some power and some explosion and stay healthy.
Yeah, and again, talking about different populations, right? Like, I'm pretty strong, and when I do a workout for the day, it's 4 or 5 exercises, and I'm toast. Right. And I'm not necessarily prescribing that for kids because
absolutely.
They might be able
you
to
couldn't even do that for me.
Yeah, they might be able to do 12 in a day.
Yes.
You know, and be okay.
Yeah.
And so like, and then you might also find that like that's a program that they wrote for him because they found out, hey, low volume, this guy responds real well. Like we can just keep doing this and we don't have to worry about burning him out, and he'll just keep getting stronger. You know, like so like it might not really. It might be individualized also to the point where like it's not that population, right? Programming is like when you look at somebody else's programming, you are looking at something that's descriptive, not prescriptive. They're not telling you that that's what you're supposed to be doing. They're telling you that's what they did. Yeah. Right. Different things.
So like the first time I heard this, and you know it's probably 12 years ago, whatever. It was the Summer Olympics, but they talked about how like Usain Bolt can do his sprint. Like you know at the time, he's been beaten, but at the time he's definitely the best sprinter, right? World's fastest man. He could do that like twice in a day. Run that fast. Like that's how taxing running that fast is. That he can get 2 done and then he's like toast. Just dead.
Yeah.
I could probably get 20 top end sprints done. Because I can't express my strength anywhere near absolute like just ability. I just don't know how to do it. I'm not trained enough. Same thing in the weight room.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of kids will fail, but it doesn't mean that they're anywhere near. Like there's lots of reasons you fail. It's not necessarily that they're just absolutely pressing. Like the muscles don't even, your brain isn't even programmed to unlock all of that. Like that's why you gain so much in the first 6 months. It's just your brain going like, oh, I'll turn more of that on for you. Here you go. Like, holy crap, I'm gaining. And that's why people quit after their first season sometimes. It's just like, well, coach, look how much I gained here, and now it's hard. Like, no shit, man. That's called beginner gains, dude. Like, well, I just told this to a kid the other day. I was like, well, you got to realize, like, so I lifted until my junior year, and I was injured my senior year, but, like, so I had, like, a 265 bench in high school. Okay? My best is 315, and that happened, like, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like 14 years. Now, I didn't lift consistently. Lots of things happened, but still, like, I was still proud of that. That's like freaking 4 pounds a year, dude. You just got to just work. And anytime you get a PR in anything, realize that that's awesome, and it might be your last one. Like, now, hopefully I can go past 315 because I have, body dysmorphia, and I think I'm an absolute weak sissy, but so I got to get 365 or something. I think 365, then I'll be like,
Then
I've
you'll be
done
okay.
enough. Yeah.
The tank will be full.
I definitely won't be like, I should probably try to get 400. That never happens.
Never happens. Yeah. Never happens. Okay, so how many years did you do football and wrestling for before you popped off?
I think I coached football for like 14, 15 years.
Okay.
And then wrestling was, as the girls coach, it was like 8, I think.
How are you younger than me, man?
Well, I told you I was still in college.
15 years?
I was a guess, man. I think it's like 12, 15.
Yes.
I mean, I was 21, 22 when I started. I mean, I was in college still, right? Coaching in the summer, then going back, so.
I did go to the Army. I did Army and college before I started. Before I came back, so.
Okay.
It's a late bloomer.
So you've been doing it for a while. You've seen, I'm sure that you've seen some assistant coaches come and go in your time. Yeah. What are some mistakes that you can help some people circumvent? Like, what advice can you give to people who are coming up that will make their career more rewarding early on?
I think it's really important to learn how kids learn, right? Like, that's what we talked about, being a teacher to coach is very similar, right? You have to learn how each kid learns. You can't just coach them like you wanted to be coached, and you can't coach them all like they're the same exact person, right? Some kid you can really yell at, get under their skin there and co-perform, and some are going to just collapse on you. So you really have to learn, multiple different ways to coach people to really get the best out of them. Mm-hmm. And then also, something I didn't do a great job of is I didn't find hobbies until COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I realized, like, during COVID, I was so bored. I learned how to golf. Now I'm pretty decent, but, like, I never thought I'd ever golf. But I didn't do anything besides just coach and then weight room and then coach, and I didn't do anything else. But I think that's having some sort of outlet outside of just coaching gives you a chance. I mean, I was golf with my buddies I coached with, right? So you're still talking shop, you're still talking about those kind of things, getting better as a person, as a coach, but having those other things outside of the sport. So just diving all the way in. Yeah. It's important.
Yeah, I found that, like, every time I add something new to my life, I learn a lot, and, like, there's lessons to be applied somewhere else. So, like, it's really easy to be in your lane and not be growing. Mm-hmm.
And you should always be trying. I don't care what level of coach you are or what you do. Like, you should always be seeking knowledge. Mm-hmm. You can't. Well, as soon as you think you've got it, like, I just think that's a terrible attitude.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some people that they got it, but still, like, then go share that knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Should be part of the development process, one way or the other.
Right.
Yeah. Have you, in your time doing it, has there ever been things that you tried that were, like, big misses?
I mean, I'm sure there's been a ton of things that are big misses. Oh my gosh.
But that's part of the process, right? You just go through it and then don't make that mistake again.
Right. Well, I mean, again, getting thrown into both sports coaching careers, just like, here, figure it out. I'm sure everything I did the first 2 years was wrong.
Right.
So I don't have a lot of specific stories about that. But
you're just like, man, those kids sucked.
Yeah,
those kids.
Who's their coach?
Terrible.
Who's their coach? It's me.
Terrible group of athletes right there, and then I all go on to college and just like, shit.
Maybe it was me? No, it's the world. No. It's the world that's wrong.
They were late bloomers.
Yeah, that's what we all say. Yeah.
That's something else, though. I mean, for new coaches, is just learning that, like, it's okay to fail, and it's okay to take the failure of your team on yourself. Like, I joke about the kids saying, well, if you miss off the map, it's your fault. But a lot of times when a kid misses, I say, that's on me. I should have kept you on the map. I should have let you go off that. That's on me. So your miss wasn't your miss today. It was mine.
Yeah.
Right? So taking those opportunities to build the kid's confidence by taking ownership of, even the littlest things really goes a long way with building that relationship with your kids, but also keeping them confident, not being like, yeah, I do suck. I did miss that lift. I'm terrible. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm a terrible coach because I let you do that. Like, that's on me.
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to that leadership training, right? Like, it's always your responsibility if you're making choices, right? Like, yeah. Yeah.
One other thing to jump on there, because I just answered this question not that long ago, was like, you also got to find you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could read coaching books and kind of get ideas or even like attitudes, but like you can't just emulate a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever. This is what I always tell people, and I just hired on a shit ton of assistant coaches. Right, like they were all, most of them were brand new to coaching. Was like whatever got you into this meeting in the first place, whatever you think drives you, just find that and just push, like put the throttle down. Like if you want to like make kids young men and you're going to be an intense guy, like be a super intense guy. If you're more like me, who's like I add humor into everything and like I can be serious, but I really like to like build the environment and make the kids laugh and all that, like I just really lean into that. So if I try to be like, sure, I can blow up a little bit, but normally it's like temporary and then I'm good. If I just tried to be like military guy, even though I'm a military guy, but like everything's just boom, 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 the kids would realize like, man, he's being phony. You know what I mean? Like, or if I try to be X's and O's guy, like that's the first thing I tell people. Like, I've coached football for a decade. Like, I'm not even interested in your new defense or what blitz you're going to draw up. Like, once you're done with this chat, give me the playbook. I'll learn it, you know, but I don't want to have this conversation about freaking we're going to stunt the DN. We were talking about that, right? Like, that's not why I'm a football coach. I'm a football coach because I want to build relationships with kids and see them have successes and enjoy in, like, the brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I coach. So, but some people still like that, but they love X's and O's. If you're an X's and O's guy, go to every one of those clinics and learn all the things and play Madden and the new NCAA game and just learn all the crazy things and zoopsy zoos and whistle D's and be a wizard. And that's great for you too. But you can't be something that you're not.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't be, because kids are freaking smart.
Yeah. And a good coach can coach any sport, right? You can drop you into soccer and you're going to be a successful coach because you know how to coach kids.
Right.
But a good X and O's person can't always coach a different sport because they know that sport itself.
And just yell, be an athlete.
Yeah, figured out.
Come on, be an athlete.
Be athletic. Athletic stance. Why are you moving your arms like that? I ask a lot of rhetorical questions when I coach.
Kick the ball.
Are your parents proud of you?
Have you ever tried powerlifting? I don't even know what we're transitioning from. Like, we launched into just good time conversation, which it's good, actually. These have been our best sellers so far. It's just like the conversation ones.
Or I thought it was when you were going to take breaks to narrate how the best selling works.
Oh. Yeah. Just remember, we have the we're taking suggestions from Monroe's random question.
Oh yeah.
But if you remember, you got to like and subscribe, and at this point in time, possibly follow us on TikTok, where we do these things.
You're gonna dance on TikTok?
Oh, I'm stealing that. One of the things I remember from last year's state too is you hitting the gritty after Yenny hit her deadlift. I have it on video, by the way.
Do you actually?
It's so good.
Can I get that? Because I don't even remember that.
I'll find
put
it.
it
Oh my
in,
god.
we'll put it in an episode.
We'll put it in this episode. So
right
good.
here. No one, listen, we'll have to put on, no one's ever made it an hour and 24 into an episode. Just so you know. Like, it's like 2% of the people. 2% of the 2 people that watch it. But we got to get in Monroe's random ass question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Worst food. What do you think is the worst? And don't give me like 100-year egg or whatever, you know what I mean? Like you ever see that? Like where they just bury an egg and it's just black and shit.
Yeah.
Or like
fermented shark.
Like I did a food competition on Halloween, a food eating competition where it was like testicle, brain, intestine, something other that was just gross. And the drink you had was eggs, just raw eggs. Like, okay, those are the grossest thing. Or like I had boiled goat in Afghanistan that was like barely skinned and like the eyes were still there. Like, doesn't count. Normal-ish shit. That is disgusting. The hotter the take, the better. I don't even know if you count. So if you don't know, Cofield's allowed to eat like 3 things. You could have like pineapple out of a can, cottage cheese.
Yeah, I'm like on the
fucking beef.
I'm on the grizzly bear diet. It's beef and berries.
You're like Jordan Peterson, like water, salt, and beef.
Yeah, my diet's pretty messed up. It's unpleasant.
So you're like anything that gives me a migraine.
Yeah, which is mostly everything.
I mean, I won't eat anything raw at all. Like, I can't do raw sushi. I couldn't do, like, any kind of, like, undercooked stuff. So I'm pretty soft when it comes to
Even like
that kind of
veggies.
stuff. I mean,
You're like fucking toasted almonds only. Is that raw?
Toasted bread. Somebody makes him a sandwich. Like, I know it's been baked already.
Why are
but
you stirring
need to
your
throw that.
water? The stirring is a process. It's
gotta
no
be.
longer raw.
I need my food processed.
There's a child of the 90s right there. Like, I don't need anything unprocessed.
I don't know.
I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
I got one. Canned spinach.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
Fuck
gross.
canned spinach. Ugh, if you like canned spinach, unsubscribe. We don't need you.
Hot takes. Hot takes.
Please don't unsubscribe. We're really enjoying this.
Yeah, we're
like,
trying to
slow
make it work.
climb
Yeah,
there,
we
like-
really appreciate you guys.
We had our beginner builds there, beginner gains for the first couple of days. Now we've been hard gaining for a while, like Monroe's calves.
I'm trying to think about things that I've eaten and genuinely disliked.
Cottage cheese.
No, I love
keep
cottage
going.
cheese. Cottage cheese is delicious.
Just
It's so good.
trash.
It tastes great.
that's the one food. That's the one food when I was trying to bodybuild, I would. You know,
But is it the taste or is it the texture?
I don't know that I could get past the texture.
Yeah,
I did
yeah, yeah.
this. I, like a child, would plug my nose, pound the cup of cottage cheese, and drinking water.
That sounds rough.
Yeah, it was gross, but it was good. The old casein. Back then, it was big. Like you had to get your casein right before bed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, nutrient timing, less important if you're training once a day. A little more important if you're training a couple times a day. I got nothing, man.
This is a dud. I could edit it and just come up with a different
Yeah.
question. We could just back all the way
Might
back
have to.
out.
Avocados.
Oh, I love
Avocados are
You're
disgusting.
such a freak.
They
dude.
taste like grass. Why would anybody eat an avocado?
Aren't foods weird how the things that you hate, we both love,
Yeah.
and he hates that, and I love avocados?
I just
Well-
like how he knows that what grass tastes like. You freaking cow.
Thanks. You're a cow. You know how like some people have like they can taste cilantro and other people will taste like soap.
Yeah.
I think that I'm missing every single one of those genes. Like olives taste like tinfoil to me. Onion or tomatoes taste like tinfoil. Cilantro tastes like soap.
You might have tinfoil.
Yeah, maybe. Mushroom tastes like
You have a
mushrooms.
filling that's
I was gonna
coming
say
out?
that.
Every mushroom I've ever eaten just tastes like dirt. Like I don't. They
Well,
have
that's
no
your
flavor
flavor,
to them.
tastes
They're
like
just dirt. You know. And so everything that other people are like, oh, this is so good, and I'm like, it doesn't. It's bad. So like, you know, there's a lot of things that other people enjoy that I think olives just taste like tinfoil to me.
Well, I guess those are answers. Those
Yeah.
are all good answers.
Thank you. I did it. We got there.
You went from I love every food and then rattle off 7 things that you were like, well, it tastes like tinfoil. I don't know if I don't like that or not.
I mean, I wasn't going to cut you off
You're
because you
not-
were real excited that I came up with some, but I love olives.
What the hell? You just lied about that?
No, that's not true. I hate olives. I just wanted the reaction. I do like cilantro though, even though it tastes like soap. I'm pro cilantro.
So you love soap, basically.
Yeah.
Have you tried soap?
Yeah, oh, yeah, sure. When I was a kid, I got to eat some soap once or twice.
You ever try a booger?
Not that I can remember,
Okay,
but
third grade. I was like, dude, listen. If there's booger eaters out there, what if I'm the like?
what if you're missing
Just
out?
because they're the only ones that do it. I think I saw this on someone's story. Just
Yeah.
because you're the only one not doing it doesn't make them right. Nope. It was on Fargo season 1. I don't know if you've seen that. He hits his wife in the head with a hammer, kills her.
Yeah,
And,
then
the blood
was
spurts on
talking about how great it
on a
was.
fish poster that's like one red fish going this way, yellow fish going this way. And it's like just because they're swimming the other way doesn't make you wrong. Ergo,
You're pro domestic murder. Like that's what the
what?
takeaway we're getting out of this.
oh, booger eating.
Booger eating.
Yeah. I was like, shit. I was in the bathroom. I was like, I'm gonna fucking try one of these out. Didn't like it.
Okay.
I think it was the only booger I ever ate. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Mom, I love you. If you make it this far,
I wouldn't be surprised if I'd done it when I was younger, like
I don't
much
think
younger.
I ate it. Chewed on a booger.
Okay. I do remember real distinctly being a very young kid, and was sitting out in front of the office waiting to get picked up at school, and
You're
there
like
was
6'2".
yeah, probably. You talking about not growing after sixth grade, man? Same thing. But there's kids getting loaded on the bus, and this one kid was on the bus, and he was kind of like squirreled away up against the window, so nobody else could see him. He had like his
Like they
backpack
were
stacked
just,
up.
like drinking like a 40 or something.
No, he was picking his nose and eating it,
You
but
said they're
like
getting loaded.
getting loaded on the bus, like getting
Oh,
put on the bus.
Onto the bus. I thought you said they were just getting, I was like,
No.
He was in the back getting loaded.
No,
dude.
no,
I was
no.
like, what the hell?
So he was like trying to
This is
hide it
the
from
first thing
everybody
I
on the
know.
bus,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, okay.
And but he's just right next to the window, and so he's like he pulls out this string that was like, I mean, it was like 8 inches long. Like it went on I was like, that really put me off on the idea. I
Yeah,
wasn't into it after
listen,
that.
I'm totally joking. That never happened. I've never ate a booger. Like I said, I'm really banking on no one watching an hour and 31 minutes into this episode.
Olives and avocados, disgusting.
Okay?
He said anything I could.
Yeah, raw foods. I don't do raw fish.
I'll do raw fish. I'll do the sushimi or whatever, where it's the fish on the rice. That's okay.
Don't,
The
no.
rolls?
Well, like how about like raw oysters? Because like the fact that everyone's like, I mean, back to boogers, like oh, just just don't bite it. It's just
Yeah,
slide it down,
I
it'll be
can't do the
fine.
raw
Slide it
oyster.
down the goal. I did
Same
it.
reason I spit the book back out. Exactly. It's not my thing, man.
We used to do
My
family.
wife's going to be so proud of me.
We used to do family Thanksgiving where we would go to a restaurant, and it was like one of those restaurants that you go to and they got like seafood, and then they got steaks, and then they got pizza, and then they got like I don't know what their deal was, but they had all the food. So we would do family Thanksgivings.
Like a Sizzlers?
No, I mean maybe like a step up from a Sizzlers, maybe, I don't know. It was just a weird restaurant.
Sizzlers?
Anyway, one year they had oysters on the half shell, and nobody wanted to do it, and I was like, I'll do it, because I'm not gonna back down from everybody else not doing it. I got so sick, like for like the next 48 hours, I was on death's door, and I was like 9 years old.
Yeah,
So
you're eating fucking
I haven't done it raw.
Sizzlers
I haven't done it
oysters.
raw
dude.
oysters. I didn't know any better. Now as an adult, I understand that if you show up and the only thing they got is like tacos, they're gonna be good, right? Or steak, it's gonna be
Yeah,
good, right?
yeah,
But if
the
you
more
show
doesn't
up
necessarily
and they got 500 options, none of them are gonna be good.
So every year we do our powerlifting banquet, which is kind of funny because it's nowhere near Shelton, at the Great China Buffet, the main buffet in, what is it, exit like 109 or something, right by
Yeah.
the theater over there.
AC.
And they do sushi, buffet sushi. I go hard on that stuff. So that every year, this has been tradition probably 8 years now. We do a competition who could eat the most plates, and I'm the only one that could judge what a plate is. So like some people try to skimp out on plates. They always cook the whole fish. So we do a fish head, if you eat the whole head, that counts as a plate, so people will just go ham. Some kids will ruin the entire meal, and they'll be like, well, on every plate I'm going to get a fish, and I'll eat the head off every fish. It's
And
like,
then that's two plates.
Yeah, but you ate 4 fish heads for dinner. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reward other than being like,
Just playing a silly game.
I won. You know what I mean? But then the second thing that we do is we go outside the buffet and they have a foot race. So I get them all just as packed up, and they just eat as much as they can, and then they get in this foot race and just like vomiting in the brush. The buffet people probably love it. Like, it's a bunch of powerlifters sprinting through their parking lot. They're just yakking all over the place. But it's great. It's a good tradition.
Nice.
Tradition's important.
What did you already say what your gross food was?
Canned spinach,
Oh yeah,
cottage cheese.
I was paying attention. You're wrong about cottage cheese.
I'm absolutely right about cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is just oysters in a tub. Cheese oysters.
I mean, you're selling me on it more.
Just cheese oysters, man.
I got two cup servings down the house ready to go.
With some pineapple.
Yeah, maybe.
Beef jerky mixed
Maybe.
in.
Maybe some pepper.
Have popcorn, man.
Gross. Migraine. Waiting to happen. All right, back to real questions.
Popcorn. We can't get back in. This is the end of the show.
All right.
We're gonna
Just slowly fizzle out
we're
now.
gonna just bullshit our way out.
Okay. Is there anything you were hoping to talk about when you came in today?
I had no plan.